Hey guys, this is Ambasa here from Alok Institute. Today we will discuss about how to perform from the scratch Oracle 19c database software on the operating system Oracle Linux. Now you may expect in real time many more different operating system. Usually we used the operating system name I listed here. It can be a Windows, it can be Linux. In the Linux there are different flavors. It can be a Red Hat Linux, it can be a Oracle Linux, it can be a SUSE Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, many more. So apart from Linux, you may expect Oracle Solaris, IBM AX, HP UX. These are the usually used operating system name. Now before proceeding the actual steps, I listed some software name which I will be using today in my demonstration. So you should know these software name so that you are aware where it exactly used. Let's start with the first software name called VirtualBox software. So why we use it? VirtualBox software to prepare the virtual machines. Second one, PuTTY or PuTTY-ND. Why we use PuTTY or PuTTY-ND? It will be useful for connecting from the operating system Windows to Linux or the Unix. Those are which I previously mentioned. It can be Linux or it can be AIX, it can be HP UX. So to them to connect from Windows, we will be using PuTTY or PuTTY-ND. That's the second point, the second software name. The third one is MobaXterm. You can use it either MobaXterm or Xming. I listed both. So this is also useful to connect from the, whenever you connect from the Windows to Linux. So to allow graphical things to open, you should have to install these two software. So if you use PuTTY, then go with Xming. If you are not using PuTTY, then you can go with MobaXterm, so that this software will help you to allow to open graphics once you connect it from Windows machines to a Linux machine. Now these are the different software name. Please remember. Next, now we will have to understand about what is our today's activity. So we will be having these two setup. An example, the physical machine, in my case it's a laptop, and the laptop has the operating system name called Windows. In the right side, I just mentioned the machine 2, but it is a virtual machine, and it is present in my physical machine, which is a virtual machine, which will be prepared in my virtual box, which I just referred there. So this is my virtual machine which I will be using it. In this virtual machine, we do have a operating system name Oracle Linux. So left side, you think it's a first machine, which is we call laptop, which has a Windows OS. Sometimes we call it's a guest OS. Whereas the right side, just refer, it is one more machine. In real time, you may get a different machine rather than in the same laptop. So there you expect this is the some XYZ the operating system name, but today's case in our case it's a Oracle Linux. So we will be connecting from the Windows machine to Linux machine by using the software name PuTTY. Let's show you how this software can be downloaded as per the given link. You can see here I already mentioned the software name, also mentioned their link, but let's now see here one by one, which I already opened my browser, where you can see this is my VirtualBox software where you can download it. This is my putty.org. From here you can click on download PuTTY and a little bit scroll down in the right side, and there you will see this is the link which you can use for downloading the PuTTY. Third one you can refer, it is a PuTTY-ND. PuTTY-ND, again just download it from here. This is already given a link, and the MobaXterm. So this is one more thing which you can use it, and the Xming. So the Xming is I already mentioned, this is a Xming, and this is my MobaXterm. So these two are help you to open graphical. Sometimes it is called X11. Okay, so that's important you to note. So overall you can consider one is my VirtualBox software to prepare the virtual machine, PuTTY or PuTTY ND to connect from Windows machines to Linux machine, and allow to open graphical through Mobexter, and use Xming so that the PuTTY can help to open the graphical part. That's it. These are the stuff which you are to get it downloaded and install it. Now here, let's say in my case, after installation of the VirtualBox software, you expect this one. This is the VirtualBox manager. In this VirtualBox manager, I prepared one virtual machine, and this is already running now, and this running machine looks like this. Okay, so this is what I just referred. Now here in the bottom section, you will see that it's the same machine. I can even minimize, and even I can just click again, it gets reopened. So as I mentioned that you will be just referring these multiple options which I just mentioned, and from here I will be now proceeding about how do you start your actual steps. So there are many more steps, we will go through step by step. The heading which I given, it is Oracle 19c, a database software installation. Steps is mentioned on the operating system Oracle Linux. Now my step 1 says you have to log in for the given IP. In real time you have to ask the management which IP they want to be connected and which machines you have to log in and get it installed your software. So that machine IP you have to take it, and then you log in with the root user. Root is my super user in my Linux and Unix operating system. So in our case the username is root, password is root123. This is what I will be just initially in the step 1 will be collecting. So in my case I already collected. Let's now log into this machine. So for that, as I mentioned, I will be using PuTTY, and now let's now put that IP here. Now what I said here, I just mentioned this is my IP which I just referred here. I put it that IP in this section, and this is my PuTTY ND. I can open it. So it may ask the login username. Let's now change the font size, maybe plus the color. Here you go, and let's now refer it. Maybe I can just change its color with appearance. Maybe let's go for here. That's it. Let's now log in. So where I logged in, I logged into the given IP. My username is root and password is root123. So you should make sure that you give it proper password, otherwise it says access denied. So once you mention the login details, once you mention your username and the password will not be visible. You have to type it and hit enter. So you have now landed from the Windows machines to Linux machine. So now here I need to start the other steps. The step 2 says you have to create 2 different users. Why should I have 2 different users, and what is their syntax? These are the 2 different groups which you have to refer it. So what I said, there are 2 groups you have to refer. The group name can be anything. In my case I used oinstall. So that is the Oracle installation purpose, and the other one is my database administration purpose, what I mentioned. Now here the step 2 says you have to perform add two different groups. One to maintain the ownership for the software, and the other one you have to maintain the ownership for your database, where you will get later the privileges. So those privileges which will be a kind of a super privileges which will be given to this particular OS group. So one you just consider for handling the software or allowed to use the software. The other one would be to getting the privileges. We call managing the database or for database ownership purpose. So how many groups I just mentioned? There are 2 groups, oinstall, sometimes called oinstall, Oracle install. So but the name of the group is not mandatory to be always oinstall. In real time it can be any group name. Same way which I mentioned, another group name is a DBA. This is also same, where the name of the group would be DBA or it can be anything. So here just for a best practice or recommended way which we go with the usual naming convention what has been suggested by Oracle. So what we call for that are recommended options. So there are three keywords you have to remember. One is called mandatory or optional, or it is maybe mandatory or maybe optional, but it is a best practice or recommended. So recommended means it is a usually many places has been used and it is now working exactly as expected, hence it is called recommended. So this is what I have to perform my step number 2. Let's do it over here. In my case, I will be now referring this group adding, group add and install, followed by group add and DBA. So these are the hardly 2 steps. You have to do it in my step 2. Followed by step 3. The step 3 says you have to prepare one user, and while creating a user, you should assign the user should be a part of this group, which is called first group, or which is called primary group, which we will be using as a small g as an option, capital G which I will be referring for my second group or secondary group, which we will be using as an capital G as an option, mentioning the name of the group which you prepared in the above step. So what is my last value? Last value would be my OS username. So the user add is the OS command, and the small g with the group name, capital G with the group name is my further options, and the last value would be my user adding name of the user. So that is my username, and this name of the user can be anything in my case, or the best practice is better to use Oracle. So it can be any name, it doesn't matter. So let's now add it. Here's the sentence, let's do it. So just follow user add -g install capital G DBA and Oracle. That's it. Now set the password for that. Passwd is my again OS command, followed by OS username what you prepared this one. You just mention that passwd and the username what you mentioned here, just mention that and hit enter. Now password it is asking, just mention whatever password you are interested to have it for this OS user Oracle. I just mentioned small o. It says that it is a very short and it's a bad password, but that's okay. For our practice purpose, we can leave it with a single character password. That's okay. Now the third step, as I mentioned, it has to be creating the user, other word it is called adding the user, and setting the password for that user. That's it about the up to 3 steps what we have covered as of now and get it completed. Now the step 1, as I said, you have to log in first. Step 2, you have to prepare 2 groups. Step 3, you have to create one user. Along with that user creation, you have to set the password for that user. Next would be you need to prepare some directories where you wanted to keep your configuration files, log files and your software, and where the software present that information called inventory, that folders or those directories you have to prepare it. So what is the first the folder which you can prepare it? Something called U01 app Oracle. So here the df-h stand for disk free and with a human readable format. Here you will get the lot of the output. In that output you need to remember this is my mount point name, like how you have a in Windows D drive, C drive or maybe E drive. Same way in Linux or Unix we call here these are my mount points. Instead of drive we call it's a mount point. So those mount point has some space. Right now total given is 264 GB. This column it says what is the column name size. So here as per here we do have a available space is 264 GB and negligible is used. So we have enough space to go ahead and start preparing the directory inside the main mount point. So this is my mount point. Inside this mount point I will be preparing subfolders. So this folder name can be anything. It is for application, for Oracle application we call it as it's a software purpose. We will be going for this. It's a U stand for user will be using, not for the OS purpose, rather the operating system user will use this folders. So let's now start preparing the directory. The directory creation, make directory, mkdir stand for it's a make directory. P, again it's a parent plus child, so that within the main folder again create subfolder, inside that another subfolder. So creating within one folder with multiple subfolders, it is called parent plus child. So that's what I just prepared it here. Plus you can prepare one more folder where you will get to store my database software. So this is the place where you will be storing your database software. What is that folder name? It is again best practice location. It can be any location. Now standard says or best practice says go with this naming convention or these many folders name. At the end, the third folder which I will be creating, which is we call Aura inventory. So this will help you to store where you have actually installed your software. So maybe I have installed here, or I'm about to going to install over here, and he will make a note that you have installed here. So this is my job of the Aura inventory folder, why we are preparing this directory. So like this, I need to prepare these three folders and make it ready. So currently who has logged in? Obviously it is logged in through root, and owner of this folder becomes the root. Now we should change the ownership, plus we should change the permissions, so that this Oracle user can be the owner of those directories, plus the owner plus the other belongs to the other user in the OS, but they belong to the same group, or maybe they are in the different group. Then what should be their read write permissions? So this is what the purpose we will be going for. Change modification, sometime called chmod. Here ch own, ch stand for change, own stand for ownership. So you need to change the ownership for these two directory. Now you just have to take again change the permissions command and just type it here about those changing the permissions. Now here we again have to make sure that here some options I mentioned. Here R stand for recursive, that means within the main folder applicable for from this folder, plus inside whatever the folder present, it is applicable to those folders, not only existing folder, plus it is applicable for upcoming or future folders whenever you prepared anything inside this folder. Hence it is called recursive. And this is we call some numbers, which number will be read, write, execute. So if you combine them, it becomes a 7. Like we do call the first digit for owner, second digit is for same group but he is a different user, and the other group and but he is a other user. Other user, other groups, that means other than these groups, what should be the permission for that users. And if they are different user but they are part of the same group, like Oracle is a part of this group, maybe I have a XYZ user and that is also will be the part of the same group, then you will get the middle number. And whereas the owner who has mentioned here, Oracle is my owner, so he will be getting this permissions. In short, we said owner and other OS user belongs to the same group, which is called OInsta group. They can also do read, write, execute, all three. Whereas if the OS user belongs to other group, not inside this OInstall group, and they should get the read and execute, that is we call 5. So this is what usually we mention to maintain the permissions. So this is what you have to get it done on step number 6. So 5 is for changing the ownership and 6 is for changing the permissions. But while referring it is called permissions, but while the syntax it is modifications. Now the 7th step would be where you have downloaded the software. In my case, let me explain it here. I placed it my softwares over here. So this is my location where you can see my software has been placed. It is already downloaded here, and this downloaded location, what we call for that downloaded location, where we placed my software, which is we call stage location. But actually it is not the currently installed. You have to consider it just a downloaded one. So where do I download it? You can just go to the website oracle.com and there you can get it, download your software. Currently consider that someone is already downloaded and they already shared you that this is the location. You can use this example here. This is the one. Now this is the one which you can see. This is the permissions I given so that Oracle user can enter into this folder and he can use that downloaded software. Hence we call change the permissions, which is a downloaded location. So this is what the steps for that. After this is completed, this is all 1 to 7 step what you have performed, which is performed through root user. Now this is what I mentioned. Up to this point you performed as a root user, and you can now you can say that whatever steps is completed up to this point, we have completed with the super user called root. Now we will be proceeding the remaining steps for Oracle user. So let's start with here, open the Mobaxterm software on Windows machine. So that means I will be now going to my desktop. I'll just go for here, and there I will be just selecting, this is my start with the local terminal. Here you go. So once I open the local terminal, so this gets opened. Now you type it here as per the instruction, that you open the Mobaxterm and type SSH Oracle @ your IP address. In my case, I used 12 IP. I'll refer this. Now here, let's now connect to that Mobaxterm. From the Mobaxterm, I will be connecting to my Linux machine. This is connected. Now initially you get this file is not exist. This is an acceptable message. You can exit again, relog in, and you may not see the same message once again. So that's what you have to perform in the step number 9. Step number 8, I opened my Mobaxterm. Step number 9, I need to connect to my Linux machine. Okay, so that's from the Windows machines to Linux machine using the software called Mobaxterm. So after you connected, you have to unzip your software. The software is present downloaded over here, but unzipping, D stand for destination, unzip it over here. Currently this folder is empty, so you need to remember currently, and this folder is empty. Let's now copy this and now unzip it here. Now here I am unzipping, it is now started. So once it is unzipped, what will be the next step? Here's the one. You may take, after you are unzip is nothing but you are extracting your downloaded software into this folder. So D stands for it's a destination. So please go through those all whatever steps has been mentioned. After the step number 10, which is unzip is over, we need to invoke the or open or launch the run. You running this particular utility we call run installer. So this will launch your wizard. So let me just show you. This is my syntax to run it in my Mobaxterm. Here's the one which I will be now running. It is taking a few more minutes to get it extracted. After extraction is over, what I will do, I'll just have to run this particular command like this. So once you execute it, it will say that launching my wizard options. So that means you have to check here the wizard is open. Here it is. This is my graphical tool. So this is what I just was about explained in a previous case. What is the software which will help you to open the graphical? This is like a GUI, graphical user interface. So the software name which I used, Mobaxterm here. You can also use it PuTTY with Xming, and that is also possible. Let's now show you that here. It is asking, do you want to go for database creation also along with software installation? I said no, please go ahead and use it only software installation. Now for your reference, I already taken a screenshot. You can just refer them and followed those the steps. Maybe you can say what is a screenshot I have taken. You go to Mobaxterm, click on the start local terminal, and here it will ask you type it where you want to connect. In the demonstration, in the previous case, I used SSH with Oracle and at the IP address is 11. And today's demo, I'm just referring with the IP 12. So you have to unzip it there. So after unzip, what it says, you will have to go to this bottom section, and there you will see this graphical has been already opened. So here again the same question, that do you want to install software only, or you want to, after software installation, do you want to create a database as well? So what I said, we will create database separately with a utility called DBCA, but DBCA we call database configuration assistant, but now we are expecting just go for software installation only. And what is my version of the software? 19C. Now this is what we will be performing the installation part. So click on next. It will ask, do you want to install for non-rack or rack, or single instance or rack? Obviously we are right now going for a single instance, so I will be selecting the first option, and that is also by default already selected. So here you go, the next one. So what are the editions we do have? We do have two types of edition. One is called Enterprise Edition and one is called Standard Edition. So Enterprise Edition has lot of features which is no more available in my Standard Edition. Example partitioning, example bitmap index. There are many more like advisory. So like that, a lot of the features are available in Enterprise Edition compared to Standard Edition. So the name of the Standard Edition is Standard Edition 2. Short form we called SE2, and Enterprise Edition short form is EE, Enterprise Edition. So that's it with selecting the which kind of editions you want to have it. From the beginning, I'll repeat here, you are running the utility called run installer. So this will open or launch the graphical tool that's we called Oracle Universal Installer. So which is the first the step it is asking, or step number 1, it is asking you to select what installation option you want to proceed it. As I mentioned, do you want to go for software installation, or you want to go for along with software installation with the database creation? As I mentioned, okay, we are only interested right now with only a software installation. So later we will use the utility called DBCA, and that utility will be useful for creating our database part. So next one is we will be going for single instance. That means we don't want rack, because right now, as I mentioned, I will be going for single instance part. Third would be your editions. So I am interested on all the features to be installed. So I'll go with the Enterprise Edition. And here it will ask you where you want to keep your configuration files, log files and all. So better you take the already default what has been selected. In our case, it is U01 APP Oracle, and that's what we prepared these 3 directory over here. You can go ahead and check here. This is my directory. Here is what we just mentioned, is we called Oracle base, which will store the configurations files and the configuration information files, log files, diagnostic files, which is what the purpose to have this directory to be prepared it. Sometime we called Oracle base, sometime we called it is a diagnostic location, diagnostic desk. The second, automatically it picked up the software installation path. So you can see here, this is my, which will store the actual software, and hence it is asking for here. Let's do it one by one. So here software only, single instance and Enterprise Edition, and it is my Oracle base, and this is my software installation. Location already picked up automatically. Now here you can refer what is my inventory path. So as I mentioned, inventory is nothing but which is called where your software has been installed. So that information will be later can be identified through the folder inventory. So this is the folder where you will see some subfolder called content.xml, and inside that there is one more file name called inventory.xml. So that you can refer it to identify later where we have installed the software. Currently we know that right now we are installing it, so we know very well where we are installing. But later someone wants to check, for that case we need a one folder which will maintain the information about where it has been installed and who will be the primary group for that particular software. That's the name of the group. So this is my second group which we prepared it in the previous case. Example, if you go with the scroll up and see here, this is the first group which I call it as software purpose. The second group is for database ownership purpose. Now what you mean by database ownership is nothing but we are saying that these are the different privileges for different activity to perform. So those all privileges I wanted to hand over or to be given at the you can say the group name. So who is my the group name, that is my DBA is my group name, which is any name you can give it, but right now in our case it's a DBA. Just mention that and select that and then say next. So he will ask you, there are certain things which it has to be fixed. Is it okay you to run some scripts which will be given to you later by running this command? Now here I will be selecting this options, which is we call automatically running the scripts. Either you can say that manually run it, or you can say automatically run it. So if you say uncheck it, that means you have to run it manually by root user. So right now I'm saying that I will be asking my installation, you do it yourself, I will give you password for the same. So here I will say that root 123. So that's it. So next I'll click here, it says that now it is going for prerequisite checks, and there is a checks given to you here. What it says here, some kernel parameters or some packages are missing. So some of them are fixable, some of them are not fixable. Fixable means the script is you can ask him to fix and check again. So he will ask you to, okay, either you manually run it, this is a scripts which is already prepared it, or we already asked you run it automatically. I said okay here. So he will run it so that this kernel parameters gets fixed by after running this particular script. So let's say okay here, and he says that now it is executed and those all gets fixed. Now what is of non-fixable? These are the two packages are really required to install your database software. So these packages are my operating system packages. This I need to download it. So where do I go ahead and download it? Let's go for here. This is my already mentioned the browser where you can search would be, let's say yum.oracle.com. Okay, so here in our case, this is my operating system, the repository, and from here you search what the name it has been mentioned here. Can you able to see here there are two packages. What I will do, I'll just take this KSH or libaio. So maybe I'll take one of them. Let's copy it here and go to this repository link, control F it and see here. So here you have to refer this second one because it's a 64-bit, you download it this file. If you click here, it started downloading. An example, if I click here, it will start downloading. So this is what you have to download it. The other one which is asked you to download something called here, you just check, it is called KSH. So I'll just come back to again the same website, search with the KSH. So you can see here, this is the one, and here also it is mentioned different numbers. You take the latest one and click download it and get it installed. You download those two packages on your Windows machine, transfer from here to your Linux machine and then get it installed. This has to be installed through root user. What I mentioned here, you can go for my notes in the given list here, scroll down, and after you invoked your run installer, you may ask to go for following the steps to follow your GUI steps. What it is asked, it asks for software only, single instance, enterprise edition, Oracle base and the Oracle home, center inventory and the group which is for one of this the center inventory, and these are my groups which will be getting those privileges, and you are running some scripts which has to be done automatically and you are providing the root password. So now it may ask you some fixes it is automatically taken care, some fixes you have to do it yourself. Download it and install those packages. Now what I said here, I just have to log into the root user because it's already given me the instruction. So saying that you have to run this, this is missing one, you have to get it installed this. So for that I just have to connect again to the putty. Let's say example, I will open the duplicate session, and or you can just put again your IP address, DB machines where you are connecting. This is the one I'm connecting, and login with the username is root, password is root123 here. And after that I already downloaded in this location, you can see it. So these are two packages which are missing packages. What I'll do, I'll say here RPM called Red Hat Package Manager. I already mentioned here what steps to follow. So I logged in. After login, I just mentioned you do cd here and followed by you run it. So example, rpm-ivh star.rpm, get it installed. So these are called missing packages be downloaded and get it transferred and get it installed. As a which user? Obviously as a root user. So don't do it as a, or don't try it as a Oracle user. It may give locking issues and you cannot complete this installation part. Missing packages to be installed as a root user only. After that is completed, you can ask him, do one more time verification prerequisite checks, check again. So right now it is a warning it is showing. Let me just click check again now. Now you can see here, now every the warning is now removed or nothing is now pending. Summary says that he is ready to go for installation. So if you click hit install, it is ready to go for installation. Now let's click on here. This is gets started my installation part. So here it is initially load it and later it says that link it. Linking is nothing but where it is to bind with my operating system. So now once after the installation is completed, you can use this software to prepare your database part. So at this moment it is again keep linking and ready to go for asking you to shall I proceed to run that script. So again it may ask you some question, shall I proceed, or an example. Let's say all this screenshot is given to you so that you can never miss a single options. See here. So what I said at the beginning, you just open the Mobaxterm. Say example here. You open the Mobaxterm, you click on local terminal, you can go to login to your respective IP and unzip it, your software into the destination, followed by you can run the run installer. He will open this graphical options. Select which kind of a software you wanted to install. Obviously it's a software only, we don't want along with this database creation part. And now we said we want only installation for a single instance because not we have installed as of now grid infrastructure software. So better we will keep it for single instance. Followed by which editions you want. Obviously we want all features, I'll go with the enterprise edition. And then I said that Oracle base, where you will keep the configuration files, log files, we sometimes call diagnostic files, in the folder called Oracle base. Whereas the software actual location would be, it's a software location, it is also called Oracle database home directory, it is called Oracle home. There are many more naming convention will be referred for this particular path. Followed by you have to tell my inventory path. So inventory path would be where it will be maintained about where is my software has been installed and who will be the primary group for the same. And once you mention this, click on next and provide the second group which you prepared it, so that the super user sys will be the getting this respective privileges. So here the sys privileges are required to create your database. So that is this first the privilege which is required for database creation purpose. Remaining again different privilege for different activity purpose. So you can give it this all privileges to the single group, and whoever part of this group, they can get those respective privileges. Now we will say next, and here it may ask you, shall I proceed with running the some fixer scripts automatically for you, or there is a one more option where he says that, are you sure you want to run the scripts at the end? You can see it. Say yes. Now here the end of the page will show to you that software installation gets completed. Now this is what the installation of Oracle Database 19c software on the operating system Linux. Now let's say I wanted to show you one more important point after your installation gets completed. Now here you can check what is my location, Aura inst.loc. This is my installation pointer file. We call Oracle installation location pointer file. Inside this pointer file you will see one folder name called Oracle inventory folder. You cd to this folder, do ls here, you will get one more folder, click on here, cd to this folder, and then see there is one more file called inventory.xml. So this is my pwd, and you can see here this is my software installation path. Now someone asks you, tell me where is my software has been installed. You have to tell, you refer this the Oracle installation pointer file. Inside this file you note down this directory. Inside this directory you will see the change the directory, and inside the directory you will see one more subdirectory called contents.xml, and from there you can refer the inventory.xml. So from here you will see the location. So this is my software installation path. That's it about the steps how to perform Oracle 19c database software installation on the operating system Oracle Linux. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye bye.